All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to Sketching Life of Brazil, and we're continuing into the island of Florianópolis in the state of Santa Catarina on the south of Brazil. What I do here is I show you different methods to approach sketching, and you'll find one that fits you best, something that you'll connect to. We have different moods when we're going into sketching, and I want you to be able to harness that, like think of that, hey, what mood am I feeling right now? Am I feeling expressive? Do I want to do a lot of watercolor to approach it, or what do I want to be more meticulous? And so today I'd like to start off with a perspective drawing in Florianópolis. This is going to be a 2-point perspective that we'll be sketching together. I'll be showing you that through 2 different drawings today, which is the warm-up sketch that we do in 7 minutes. So the whole point of this is so that you could develop a habit and the confidence and that intuitive nature of sketching. So that's what we're sketching today. That's the 2-point perspective in Florianópolis. Right now, I'm just going to show you diagrammatically what we're looking at. I need to first approach a sketch in a way that's like how I would do it in real time, in real life, so that you can see how I can do that. And then after, I'll diagram on top of it so you can see how is it that we do that together. So let me do that. I can add values. Okay, so first I can come in here, add a dark value all on the right side. Okay, that is my demo to start. 3 more minutes in my version. Let's have a quick look at everybody's sketch. You can hold them up. Okay. Wow. You guys got a lot done there in 7 minutes. Impressive. Let's talk about this. There is an eye line, and that is where these people are standing. There's a straight line. Now I'll take a straight line here, this cyan color. So in reference to where we're standing, there's a straight line. And so there's all these angles in this tower here. And where are these angles coming from? Well, if I were to take my pencil in front of my eyes, like so, you see my photo video on the right. Now I would take this in front of my eye and aim it on the angle of the building, like here. So I would take this in front of my eyes where I'm standing, urban sketching, and I would angle my pencil like that. And here, I would take this angle of the pencil in front of my eyes, and I would imagine it continuing down in this trajectory until it intersects with this straight line. So for purposes of the diagram, I'll take a line here. So it lands on the eye line right here. So this is called a vanishing point, VP1. So as long as you find the most dramatic angle, wherever, it could be the highest point of the building, then you take that and you find it, and wherever that intersects, that is the first vanishing point. I was able to fit it on the paper, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's like you have a small piece of paper and it's going to fly off and not be on the page. So you'll have to just imagine where that is off the page. And so the same thing is also happening in our second vanishing point. What does that mean? Well, there's another one. If you take the angle of your pencil up against your eye, and you see this one happening here, the angle of the tower on the right, and you can see that this, and so here, same thing. And then here you'd find the second vanishing point because it intersects on this eye line. Why does it matter? Does it go to the eye line? Because everything is in reference to our height, where we're standing. This is now going to create all of your perspective lines that are referencing this part of the building, this part of the building here, all of these lines on the building. I'll go and I'll take a bunch of lines from this in a radial format. I would draw these in pencil when I was starting to sketch. And if I have all these pencil lines on the page, then I can just come over here and find where this hard line, this one, hard line, that one. And I start to find where all of these perspective lines are landing on this page. Same thing is going to happen over here. So if I were to go There you go. So you have now all these angled lines coming out of this point. Very straightforward of how perspective works. This side of the building is also going to reference to this area. All the elements on this face are referencing here. And all the elements on this face are referencing here. For the purposes of pencil, I would like us to get into the habit of using pencil only for construction lines. Let's get in there and do a straight line on our page. Throw in those vanishing points on either side. And what you could do now is throw out a bunch of these perspective lines. These are just going to be sort of random on your page. It's a good way to start to quote unquote see the lines. You want to be able to see them in your daily life. And the more you draw lines on the page like this, the more you'll start to understand how perspective works in your environment. So why don't we throw the next series of lines? It's not going to go all the way up here, but we can maybe just throw one here, for example, just for that tower. And then we'll get the next series of lines. The other goal of these lines is that your drawing becomes more of a harmonious sketch. It's not like a bunch of blocks and pieces that are put together, but it's more of a consistent, I would say. Let's do a few more pencil lines, and I want to find our vertical line. So the most vertical line I see is sort of in the center of the image, which is the corner that's closest to us. So I'll throw a vertical line right here. Let's throw another vertical line in here. Let's throw more vertical lines in here. Last vertical line, which is the furthest part of the building on the right here. We're looking at primary edges and profiles. That's what we're looking at in terms of the vertical lines. And then from here, we can now get into the ink line work. I would start with a thicker line, like a 0.4, 0.3. I'll come in and hard line the left side. I'm looking just at the profile, and I see this part of the building pop out here. So if this is the top edge here, then I'll continue with the tower part. So if this is that corner, main kind of top of the building corner here, why don't we continue this line and we hard line this perspective line. So we come here and hard line this part. So that's going to give us this shape of the tower. How do we get the tower here to be in the correct perspective? Well, if we have the one on the left, we know that this one is going to continue in its perspective up here, continue in that line, in that trajectory, right? And we can draw the profile. Now with this, before I try to do this whole zigzagging of the top of the tower, it's probably easier if I see the verticals. So if I just draw the vertical here, then I can connect them. Now, some of these areas, they don't always have to be so technically efficient or technically on point, like have that freedom to sketch it. So as long as you have these areas in reference, like these guidelines, then yeah, I know that that is going to be the same angle there. I can start to fill in those details. So we've got the left profile comes up, comes over. How about we continue with the shape of the building, vertical shape of the tower. Now, how did I know where to stop here? It's a couple of reasons. I'm referencing something on the left side of the building. How to get the center of this building? If we have the face here, right? This is the face of this building. We could do an X. I do an X from each point here, point there, bottom point, top point. And now I know that the center of this building is at the point of this X. So the center of the tower is here. Why is that important? That's important because it'll help us reference windows, the point of this triangle. Start to hard line here, and wherever this intersects, oh, it intersected with the center line. So how do I know where this triangle goes? How do I know it comes over here? Well, it's part of the perspective. If this line continues, then I know that the part of this triangle will stop here in perspective. I can start to reference different areas, different things. For example, if I know that this tower is here like so, I can see that how this shape has 4 pilasters. There's one column here, one pilaster here, another one here, and another one on the edge. So how do I find the second one? If there's one on the left, where is the second one? I can see that it's in the middle, more or less, of this tower. And I can draw those lines lightly here. We have one that we could hard line over here. Next series of pilasters, like one here and one here. So this is the first, second, and the third one. I can see that the third one is just to the left of the tower, right? So I'm going to now draw in that one here. So I can start to now hard line the rest of these areas. Hard line means taking an incline over our perspective and diagram lines. You can start to see these perspective lines and start to draw in those inclines on top. So we have a few things that I want to talk about in terms of detailing. That would be like this X, center of this X here. We have a circle that's happening, but we don't always have to draw a perfect circle. We can just draw part of the circle. I will come here and I'll draw sort of a half circle. So you can take parts of the circle, leave a gap, continue. I don't need to have such a hard line. I can leave gaps in the circle. So if I know where this is, I know where the protrusion is, I can start to fill in some of these areas. I know that this part will come up. I want to finish the overall form of this cathedral, like over here, the building on the right, and then I think it'll be easier for us to then fill in the details. So crazy how much longer it takes when we're getting with a fine line pen. We did this whole drawing in color pencil in 7 minutes. But the goal is that we more of a cleaner understanding when we do this. It's not so more intuitive, I would say. So I've got this whole shape from the left, the tower to the right side, and now we need to ground it so that we can fill the whole overall form. I'm going to eyeball this whole area, meaning the shape of this stair, how it comes up like so, it goes straight, and then it comes up like that. I don't need to be more technical. There's a point where you have your reference lines in there. You want to be able to just go in and breeze through some sections. We want to be more efficient now in the way that we're doing these details. That's enough suggestion of details there on the right. You find your rhythm, you kind of find your toolkit of style, I would say, and some squiggles become your trademarks. The point is trying to be certain suggestions in certain areas and then moving on to the next part. I'm almost ready for my shadows. What do we see here? We just see the values on the right of the building, right? We're gonna do dark values on the right, splashing off of here. And then we'll see as a secondary to go in between like the pilasters and things like that. Okay, the color that I'll use is urban gray. What you could do here is you could actually take a wash of water to the whole right side. Try to get in really dark in these inside areas. It helps if you can maybe apply a little wash on the inside first, and then you can take a dark pigment on top of the paper, because then you can work the gradient, reveal the column underneath the watercolor. Well, here I left it white, but I just want to see a gradient from like soft dark to lighter color here. So we have a very soft shadow happening here. So I can take the water to the page first, so it's soft, and then I can apply that pigment on top here. We have now a soft color difference between the building mustard color and those white columns. So I can really get a transparent, diluted watercolor here. Now it's starting to appear that this face is also in shade. So what we're going to have to do is apply a second layer of shadow to the right side. But we're going to be going dark, not on the column part, on the inside. So that second layer, for example, will go like this. The last subtle touch of shadow work would be on the right side edge of all of the detail work. Elements that are popping out, you can add a subtle shadow on the right side and the undersides. Last part for the stair down here, let's throw a big wash. I want to add some energy down here, so just add some wash down there. So that is the building shaded in its glory. And if you wanted to add context meaning the background, I could do something very soft. For example, I'm going to add a wash of water back here in the shape of the context. And some water down here. In order for this to pop more, to be brighter, I need to darken the left side of that and darken what is behind it. It's nice to balance a drawing that is both technical and loose. The nice element to that. Once you come in here and you can start to add some loose elements in the background. I'm gonna stop there before it gets too muddy. Bring in a ton of water on the page and maybe adding some drama. Very cool. I'd like to highlight a few. Looks great. I like the choice of color. Very good. I think that's it. So have a great week. Happy sketching life, and it's great to see everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.